Welcome back everyone to the last and final part of this SQL and SQLite tutorial. We've got a whole lot to cover. We're going to cover it super quickly, from settings to editing your database, to adding, to modifying your search parameters, and finally foreign keys. Let's get started. So I'm going to jump into the database quickly with SQLite3, learning SQL.db, and I'm in, clear, drop 2 lines. So first things first, let's look at mode. Let's look at how to change how our data is shown to us. So let's go select all from programming languages. Right now this is not the nicest thing to look at. So let's change our dot separator and set it to space space colon space space. And now if we run the same above line, much better to see. Wouldn't it be nice if we could see ID over here, name over here, and usage over here? Well, let's do that. We're going to say dot headers on. Let's run it. Much better. We got our ID, we got our name, and we got our usage. Much easier to see. Another formatter we have is dot mode. Right now ours is currently set to column, so everything is in their own individual column, but we can change this to all sorts of funky things. I'm just going to give one example, and that's line. Enter, same statement as above, and now each and every cell of each row is in its own line. Let's change that back, dot mode to, if I could spell right, awesome, print the same line above, and there we go, back to our neat, beautiful columns. One last format we're going to look at in this video is dot width. This is going to specify the explicit width of each column. So let's just go 5, 10, and 2. Then run our select. And there we see we have 5, which we specified over here, 10, which we specified over here, and 2, which we specified. So I'm just going to reset this, go width, maybe 4, maybe 10, maybe 20. That should be good. And that's good. Okay, now to look at some settings for the database. At first we got dot tables. This will give us all our tables. We got dot schema. This will show us all the statements we've used to create our database so far, not including inserting data. We can look at the specific schema of a particular table by putting schema and the name of the table, no semicolon, and it's exactly the same line since we only have one table. We can exit the database by dot exit. Enter it again with SQLite3, name of the database, semicolon, and we're back inside. And then we can also use dot show to show all the current settings for our database. Okay, I'm going to go and clear here. Now let's look at modifying our existing database. So first things first, we've got drop table, and the name of the table. This will delete our table. I'm not going to do that. Okay, and I'm just going to hit select. Okay, so now we're going to look at update, and that's how to change a particular cell's information or data. So right now this is what we see. Just hold on, I've got to change my separator. Okay, that's much better. Let's get our headers on, and column, much better. So now let's say I wanted to change Python to HTML. So to do that, we're going to say update and the name of the table, set, then the column name to, and we're going to change it to HTML. And then we have to tell it we defined it, where ID equals 1, semicolon, enter. Let's print our data out again, and there we have it. We told it update in the programming language, set name equal to HTML. Okay, but where should I set the name equal to HTML? Well, where the ID equals 1. Well, here the ID equals 1, so find the name, and set it to HTML. Where it was Python, now it's HTML. That is the update command. Now I'm going to quickly insert a piece of data here. I've slapped this piece of data in here real quick just so we can check the delete command. And that goes delete from name of your table, where, give it the condition to find the row which it must delete, and that will be ID equals 6, semicolon. Let's print our data out, and there we have it. We created this piece of data, ran our delete command, forgot our semicolon, added it, and now our row is deleted. And the last command we're going to look at, and that's modifying an existing table. Let's say we wanted to add one more row. We got ID, we got name, we got usage. We want one more row, and that's going to be have I used it. And the way we're going to do that is say alter table, name of the table, and then the command add column, then the new name of the column, used it, and its type, and that is going to be integer, semicolon, enter. And now let's go select, and here is our new column, which I did not put a space for the integer, so it went and added it in for me. Now you might be wondering, well, how can we delete our mistake of a column? Well, unfortunately with SQLite you cannot. You cannot delete columns. You can only delete entire tables or entire databases. Okay, the next command is between. If you only want to search between row 2 and row 4, it will only search between those rows or whatever your number may be. To do that, we'll say select all from where ID is between, and in this case, let's say 2 and 4. And that's exactly what it's done. Chosen between where the condition ID is between 2 and 4. So it's given us 2, 3, and 4. The next command is in, and the in will search your query within a given list of parameters. In this case, we're going to say where the name is in, and we give it a list. I'm going to say Python or Swift, semicolon, enter. It would really help if I put in the command we're busy talking about. In, put it in there, and there we got one result because there is only one table where the column name is in our list we supplied, and our list contains Python and Swift. That is the in. A lot more things you can do with in. I'm just going to give the one quick example. Okay, I've gone and quickly added 2 more rows of data into our table just to show the distinct command. What this is going to do is it's going to only show us unique results. If there are more than one result that is exactly the same, they will be merged. Let's see it in action. Select distinct, and we're going to say usage from, enter. And you'll notice here we have AI and web stuff, macOS and iOS, game dev, web, enterprise applications, and data only came up once. Why? Because it's distinct. We have it twice here, only showed it once. It doesn't matter where this data was in the rows. If it comes up twice, which in this case immediately does, it will only be showed once. That is the distinct command. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is SQL's operators. SQL has a lot of functionality it can do for you in your searches. It goes along with your searches. When you get straight into it, let's go with random, and this is just going to give us a random number, and here it gave us negative, a very big number. Let's say we only wanted in sub 100. We will say select random %100, semicolon, enter, and there it gave us 86, 97. Now let's say you do not want a negative, which you do not, because I'll give you an error when you search in your database. So we're going to say select ABS, that stands for absolute. In math that means only positive. Random, and our %, let's go 1000, and there gave us 58, 415, 440. The absolute would take whatever this is and make sure it is a positive, and that is the random. Okay, let's take a look at the min max. This will give us the minimum value in a particular column in a table and the maximum. To do that, we're going to go select min ID max, add a comma here, ID, and then from our table name, semicolon, enter, and I spelled table wrong. So to do that, we're going to go select min ID, comma, max ID from, and then give it the table to run this command on, semicolon, enter, and there it is, with a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 5. And here we can see that's the truth with 1 and 5. So if you want to look at the total number of rows a particular table has, we'll say select count star from all from, and give it the table, semicolon, enter, 5. And we can see that is the case. There are 5 total rows. Another super useful operator is the lower and upper. To do that, we can check select lower name and upper usage from programming languages, semicolon, enter, and here it's made name lowercase and usage uppercase. And then last quick one is to see the total number of changes you've made to your database. Go select total changes 0. Very interesting. Apparently I've made no changes to this database. I don't understand, but anyway, that's how you can check that. And the last one we're going to look at is date. So to do that, we're going to go select date. That's going to give us the date. We can do the same for time. That's going to give us the time. And we can also do the same for date time. That will give us both. It goes a little further. You can say select date and give it some special date. In this case, we'll say now it minus 30 days. And there's the date 30 days ago. Very, very useful when it's needed. Lots and lots and lots of operators like this in SQLite. Okay guys, we're nearly at the end. There's one more thing to cover in SQLite and SQL, and then we are done with databases and this course, and that is foreign keys. Now, to give an in-depth example of what foreign keys are is out of the scope of this video, but I'm going to go over it quickly so you have the idea of what a foreign key is. It is important because it puts the relational in relational databases. So imagine we create a second table called future projects. One of the columns is programming language to use. But now the catch is I need the programming language and that programming language's use case in this column. But now you can't do that. You can't put two sets of data in one column. For this example, you can't. While wouldn't it be great if the programming language to use could point to the programming language in our programming languages table? Well, that's exactly what a foreign key is. It's linking a foreign table outside of that table. This is an extremely simple example, and you might think, well, that sounds a bit complicated for something so small, but this becomes extremely important in very well-made databases. Alright guys, that's it for the SQL tutorial and SQLite. I hope you know what databases are now. I hope you understand. I hope you learned a lot in this course. I had a lot of fun making this stuff. I love learning and I love teaching. I really hope you enjoyed. Please leave comments and let me know where I can improve for the future and make better videos. That's it for this tutorial guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.